everybody, this is Sarah here and my good friend Barley. I'm going to attempt to read you a story. I have tried about 20 times this afternoon and I have been interrupted by the lovely Jack Russell Harrison, who is lying in the lounge on the back of the settee, children, barking at every single thing he can see. He might be an old boy, but he is a very noisy boy. So I'm going to attempt to read you Barley the Bear Takes a Flight from my book, Barley the Bear Stories. And for all the mums and dads out there, aunties and uncles, grandpas, grandmas, just about everyone, any adult that's watching this that has a child in the family, Barley is available from all good bookshops. I believe you can actually order it in from any store. The main stockists at the moment of Barley the Bear Stories are Waterstones, W.H. Smith's, Amazon, Pegasus, who are my publishers, and Barnes & Noble. If you go onto our Facebook page, Barley the Bear Stories, there is a Shop Now button which will directly link you to Pegasus, where you can purchase your copy. Please leave reviews if you'd like to, and if there's any constructive feedback that you'd like me to take on board, that's absolutely fine too. But Goodreads offer a good forum and a good platform for you to leave your review, but anywhere that you purchase it from, you should be able to do the same. So let's get into the story. So it's Barley the Bear Takes a Flight. After a summer full of fun, to return to Pornet the time has come. I've packed my bag and am boarding the plane. Are you ready to do the same? Barley had been busy helping his mum tidy their cave, and now the work was done. He was free to go and enjoy the day. To see his friend Jack, it was time to play. As Barley ambled down the hillside, he was thinking that he would like to ride in a flying machine where he could soar up high above the clouds in a clear blue sky. Now you may think that this sounds daft for a bear to wish to fly an aircraft, but Barley is no ordinary bear, for he loves adventures, excitement and dares. On meeting Jack, the friends took a walk down to the shore to sit and talk, where they could plan their next bit of fun before the autumn time would come. And as the two friends chatted away, they heard a huge noise approach the bay. As they stood up quickly on the sand, a small aeroplane started to land. Now this plane didn't land on the shore of the bay, but skimmed the water along the way, and finally came to a sea-skimming stop right on the surface of the smooth water top. The two friends gasped as they saw the plane land, and out of the plane jumped a familiar man. They recognized the pilot from the hot air balloon. He had promised them that he would definitely return soon. Hello, Barley, and hello there, Jack. I did tell you that I would be back, to thank you properly and bring you some treats. So I've come to visit and have brought lots of sweets. Now on the jetty the friends ran to see the plane that bobbed gently upon the blue sea. Barley and Jack were filled with great awe. They had never seen an aircraft before. Since your last visit, I've wanted to try a ride in a flying machine up in the sky. Are you serious, Barley? The pilot then asked. It is a rather exciting task. Barley replied, I think Jack and I could give it a go. If we don't try it, then we might never know whether bears and dogs really can fly. We may be scared, but let's give it a try. I have an idea, the pilot then said. Why don't you try wing walking instead? Even Jack looked puzzled at this. Can you tell us what wing walking is? Indeed I can, the pilot replied. You stand on the top instead of sitting inside. I'm not sure about this business of being on top. It doesn't sound right for a bear and a dog. Jack went on, but try it we will because adventures are fun, and best for us to do this whilst there is still sun. And so it was decided that the very next day Barley and Jack would be shown the way to stand on top of the aircraft so high as their new pilot friend flew them high in the sky. When the next morning came, it was lovely and bright, a perfect day for completing the flight. So along with their families, they all took the path down to the shore of the bay to see the aircraft. Now this plane is special as it really can float on top of the water just like a rowboat. It can land on the ground with just as much ease, but on Paulet Island it waited on sea. They finally arrived at the pilot's airplane. As he jumped right on board, our friends did the same. But no comfy seat for Barley and Jack, for they were to stand on the aeroplane's back. They climbed onto top where they would stand for takeoff and flight right back to the land. 2 harnesses awaited and our friends were strapped in. With the pilot all ready, the flight would begin. The engine started with a loud growling sound as the airplane lifted from the sea and the ground. "Oh my gosh!" shouted Barley the Bear, as at great speed they flew into the air. "This is faster than reindeer," Jack whuffed aloud, as the pilot then took them upside down in the clouds. They looped the loop and they rolled to one side, and Barley was not sure he was enjoying the ride. The next thing he knew, his harness had slipped. Barley lost his footing and started to slip. He hung with both paws from the frame on the top. With back legs stretched out, he thought he would drop. But little Jack Russell's are incredibly strong, and with his sharp teeth, Jack tugged his friend on, back to where they started their flight. Jack hung on to his friend with all of his might. The pilot did not know that Barley had slipped, and he swooped and he stalled and then started to dip the plane around the bay and towards the seashore to return to the spot where they set off before. Poor Barley had closed his eyes tight. He hadn't really enjoyed this super fast flight. Reindeer and sleigh were a much gentler ride, with Father Christmas in charge and Jack at his side. Oh, but at last he felt the plane slowing down to land on the sea and towards solid ground. So he opened his eyes and finally saw his mum and dad waiting on the seashore. Finally the plane skimmed to a neat stop, and Barley and Jack jumped down from the top to tell their families of their latest escapade, but they did not tell them that they were very afraid. Once again we have all shared in all of their fun, but I'm sorry to say my story is now done. I shall call you again when it is time to return to Paulet for another Barley rhyme. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. Leave comments, it'd be lovely to hear from you all, and thanks as always for your support. It means the world to me. So goodbye for now.